Any questions on yesterday's assignment, Priyanka, from you?
No, ma'am.
Okay, cool. So in yesterday's class, we have seen what is Lightning record page and how to configure Lightning record page and how can we provide the permissions to those pages, different levels like arg wide, app wide, and then app record type profile wide. Like three types of permissions we can control for the Lightning record pages, right? Then if I open up any of the record, let me go to my application. Okay. And if I open up any of the sample record, so the things that we are saying here is this is the header component and these are some related list components and then details, which gives me all information about the fields, and related gives me information about the all the related objects to this particular account object. And then this is the opportunities is the our custom tab that we created using Lightning App Builder. Okay. So again, activities and charters, these are just normal. When we enable the charter functionality while creating the account, then obviously this tab we will see, and activities also there is a checkbox when we are creating the account, then we will see this activity one. So this is all we call it as a lightning record page. In yesterday's class we have seen how to configure this lightning record pages, and apart from that, normally we are seeing some buttons on each page. On the header section we are seeing some buttons, so these buttons are configurable. Like what is these buttons and what is the use of these buttons, that is something we are going to learn it today. Okay, basically whenever you create something, guys, by default you will get a button saying that depends on the, I mean, if it's the account, you can create the new contact, new case, new note, like that. Each object has its own default buttons. Okay. So how we can verify what all buttons that are already default? Okay. That we can verify. We can go to that particular object by clicking on edit object. It will take us to that respective object. And there is a buttons, links, and actions. So when you click on it, it will just display all the default buttons that are available for that particular object. It varies object to object, guys. Okay. And nobody will ask you what all buttons which are available on the account object, what all buttons which are available on contact object. Nobody will ask you like that. They'll ask you what is the use of these buttons. Okay. So you no need to remember the button names actually. Okay. But you can just verify what all buttons which are available, but it's no need of by hearting the things. Okay. So let me open up contact. If I go to the contact object, buttons, links, and actions, this will give me a different button. So this, why I'm showing you here is whenever you are opening up the account or whenever you are opening up the contact record, you are seeing some buttons. So in case if they want to rename something, for now this is showing like a view account hierarchy. Okay. If they want to, if they ask you, no, instead of view account hierarchy, they ask you to rename it as a show account hierarchy. So you should know, right, where these buttons are present and how can you change those button configurations. Okay, that is nothing but buttons, links, and actions. Here you will be seeing all the buttons and its like source, like accounts tab, it's just a tab and it's a standard page. Okay. And billing is something like that. There is a link on the URL. So this is something like that. Just it's a URL field and which is present on the detail page links. Okay. That means if I go to details, you're seeing some, seeing something billing link. Okay. So this is kind of URL. This is present on your detail page, right? This is present on your details page. So you can keep some links on the detail page. You can keep some buttons, okay? And you can do some actions. Actions are nothing but, for example, when we click on this button, okay, submit for approval button. So it is opening up some kind of box, pop-up window box, and you can provide some things and you can click on submit also. So this is the standard functionality. Like submit for approval is one of the standard functionality provided by the Salesforce whenever you want to submit this record for higher level approvals. Okay. Then, then when you click on this button, automatically it will go under the approval process. Okay. Basically, we use the approval process. For example, if customer is asking, we by default giving 10% discount on the product, guys. Okay. But customer is asking 20% discount. That is not in your hands. Then obviously you have to take approval from your manager, right? To give that 20% discount. That means if you take manager's approval, you can provide 20% discount on that product. That is possible. In that case, what you will do is you will just submit this for the managers approval. You can click on that submit for approval button, then automatically it will go to your managers. And it's a setup, guys. In the back end, there is a approval process setup. Okay, that is a separate topic. Approval process, validation rules, and flows. These three are the separate topics that we discuss in our later classes. Okay, so but whatever you configured in that approval process, like if this condition satisfies, in case of 20% discount, submit to manager. In case of 30% discount, they are asking, then submit to senior manager. Okay, such kind of configurations we can configure in approval process. And when you click on this button, okay, submit for approval button, automatically that process will get invoked. Those things we call it as a actions. So buttons, on click of this button, some actions are going to take place, and the other things are URLs. URLs, on click of the URL, you can open up into the other page, like you can go to some other pages. Okay. From this record page, if you're willing to navigate to any other URL, you can use the URL fields. Okay. So basically the major agenda of these buttons, links and actions is using these buttons and links, we can perform some actions. One of the action is redirection. Redirection, whenever you want to redirect to some URL, then we use URL. Okay. So new button or link, whenever you click on new button or link, okay, This is the content source is the one we are just going to give our test button. Okay, name, and this is the one. So this is the one detail page link or detail page button or list button. Okay, this is the one detail page link is nothing but if there is a small um, underlined text, guys, view example. If you click on it here, it will display you example. It is displaying in the like classic version, it is displaying. But if you see the lightning version, guys, whatever the billing link that you are seeing is nothing but the detail page link. Okay, whatever the button or link that you are creating, if you would like to display in the detail page, okay, along with your custom fields, if you would like to display on the detail page, then that is the case. We will select this detail. We will select this detail page link. Okay, and detail page button. Detail page button is nothing but whenever you select this one detail page button, then you are able to access that button from here. Okay. These are all buttons which are present on the detail page. That is record page buttons, record detail page buttons. So whenever you create a button as the detail page button, you are going to access it here. Okay. And the third option it has is the list button. Okay. List buttons are something like that. You are able to access them from the list views. So when we click on the tab, right, these are nothing but list views. Recently viewed, all accounts, my account, all these views, we call it as a list views. So whenever you want to see any button in this area, okay, this new import assign label, all these are the list view buttons. Okay, whenever you would like to see any button in the list view, we are going to create a list view button. Okay, whenever you want to see a button in detail page, we are going to select detail page button, or it's a detail page link, then we are going to select detail page link. Detail page buttons are something like that which displays on the record level. Okay, detail page links are going to display on the detail page, like detail page details tab. That is the main difference between these three things, guys. Okay, next, in case of display in existing window with sidebar, display in existing window without sidebar, display in existing window. So this is something like that. What is the behavior of that? Means when we click on that button, what should happen? Okay. See, this is when you click on that button. Obviously, when we click on some button, we will do the changes or we will do some like we will open up a new pop-up, right? Basically, when you click on any button, right now, if you see it here, we have so many default buttons, right? When we click on any button, it will just open up a pop-ups, right? There are some buttons that when you click on it, right, it will not open up the pop-up, it will just open up a separate window kind of thing. Okay, separate tab kind of thing. That behaviors, everything we can configure here. Okay, or else if you want to execute some script, JavaScript kind of thing, and that means instead of opening up the new windows, like if you want to execute your own JavaScript code, then we can write our JavaScript code and we will execute it. And basically, as the admin point of view, you will not get this writing of the code, guys. Okay. For you, Basically, nowadays, nobody is going to create a new button or links. Instead of that, new actions we are using it. Okay. The difference between the new actions and new button or link is, in case if you would like to use your arg in both classic and lightning guys, you have to create new button or link. Okay. New action, whatever the button that you are creating, action button that you are creating is available only in the lightning. You can access those buttons in lightning. This is your important interview question guys. Okay, what is the difference between the new action and new button or links? Then we have to explain this difference. In case if you want to perform action on click of the button, um like, okay, actions on click on the button, um that is available only in the lightning version. Whatever the new action that you have configured using new action button, you can't access that through Salesforce Classic. Okay. In case new button and link, whatever the buttons that are created using new button or link, we can access in both Lightning and Classic. Okay, that is the major difference. Then another question immediately they'll ask, can I call a flow from new button? Can I call using these new actions and new button? Both the things we are using, we are going to create a buttons, guys. That's it. Ultimately, we are going to create a button or link. That's it. Using new action also, we are going to create like this only. Okay. So this is called it as a button. Okay. And whatever the URL kind of things, we call it as a links. Okay. Ultimately, using both of them, we are going to create a button or link. But if you create using new action button, then we are going to use that only in Lightning. Those buttons will not be available for Classic. Okay. If you create using new button or link, then both are available for Classic and Lightning. Using new button, the functionality, whatever the functionality that we implemented, we can use in both Classic and Lightning, right? Then what is the purpose of having another button, new action button? Obviously, right? There should be some more advantage. Then only they have introduced the new functionality. That is your another interview questions. Okay. What is the difference between that? One of the difference is new actions are available in Lightning only. New buttons are available in both Lightning and Classic. Okay. Then can I configure? What are the configuration differences? Immediately they'll ask you. Already you said new buttons can accessible in both Lightning and Classic. Then why do we go with the new action? Okay. Then we have to explain like using new actions, we can call the, like, there are different action types that we can call a flow. Okay. This is one of our automation processes that we will do. For example, when I create a record, I would like to create some child records automatically. Okay. I'll write a flow for that and I can call that flow on click of the button. Okay. Or else Lightning Web Components. Lightning Web Components is something like that. Um, we have shown, right? This header component is one of the web component. Detail page is one of the web component. That means we can design our own UI pages, guys. UI, working UI, like different forms, all our UI things. These are all standard UIs, Salesforce UI, right? If you want to design your own custom UI, we have Lightning Web Components is the option. I don't like this standard Salesforce UI color branding or way of fields arranging. I want my own custom UI. In that case, we always use Lightning Web Components. That is the development approach. So they are not going to use the standard functionalities. They want everything customized one. Then we will design multiple Lightning Web Components for them. And we can call those components on click of these actions. Using standard buttons or link, that is not possible. Using standard buttons or link, hardly we can call the JavaScript. That's it. Apart from that, nothing is possible. But using these new actions, we can we can do multiple operations. Like we can create a button, send email button. Okay, we can create a log a call. Log a call is nothing but creating an activity record, that is a task. Okay, that means whenever somebody is contacted to us, we can simply click on this log a call button. Then it will create log a call action. Then it will create an activity for us. We can call custom Visual Force pages. Again, Visual Force pages is the classic version of UI pages, guys. Okay. Nowadays, we are not at all using these Visual Force pages. It's but it's something like that. If people are using still classic version, 90% of the projects they are not using the classic version, but still, if there are projects they are using the classic versions, we have to call these web components from Visual Force pages. Okay, both are the development only. Visual Force, Lightning Web Components, Lightning Components, all are related to development only, guys. So we are going to write some codes and we are going to call that code for our custom pages. Okay, custom UI. We use all these things. Okay, then update a record. So if you want to, on click of the button, if you want to create a record, for example, on click of the this button, I'm creating an account, and on click of a button, I would like to create a record. So here I can select all selected objects like case object, contact record, opportunities record. Okay, like that we can select all the related objects which are related to the account. That is the target object, and I can just give the label name. Okay, for example, test create contact. Okay, the target name I am giving contact. Okay, the label, how you should look like the table, new record type, update, new child record. Okay, so obviously this is the new child record, right? This is optional. Okay, you can give it or you can just make it as a none also, because that is optional. Clicking on save. Okay, so the basic difference between the Okay, on now we are configuring on the create contact what all the fields that you would like to display to the users. Okay, these are all different fields which are present on the contact object. So at the time of creating the contact, name, email, phone, account name, title, and you can just take department or gender identity, like that. You can add whatever the fields that you needed and click on save. Okay. Now a new action is created. Test create contact button. Okay. This is how we can create a new action. Or else if you want to create the new button, we can create the button. It's the same thing. Okay. Type will display you whether it is the detail page link or detail page buttons, something like that. In case of URL, it's a detail page link. See, this is the button which is created by me. Okay. So which says of type create record. So the action of this button is create record. Okay. This is how you can create buttons and links, guys. Now let me see. Let me go to account record and let's see how this looks like. If I refresh the page, okay, I don't see that here, right? I need to add this one to my page layout. I have to go to page layouts. I have created the action button. Now I can go to the layout. Currently I am using it. So I am using the account layout. Okay. Here there is an option of quick actions. Okay. Whatever the buttons that you created using the buttons or links that you are able to see under the buttons, guys. Okay, under the buttons, okay, basically in the page layout, fields is something like that. The custom fields are standard fields which are available for that objects. The second option is buttons. So these buttons are nothing but standard buttons as well as the buttons that you have created using new button or link button. Okay. Custom links are nothing but the URL fields that we have created. So already there was a billing is the custom URL link. Okay. Whatever the things that buttons or actions that we are creating using new action button is something called quick actions. Okay. In the interviews, they will ask you, have you worked on quick actions? Okay. So quick actions are nothing but new actions that we are creating from the object manager, buttons and links. Okay. So this is the test create contact. Okay. This is also one of the quick action. Okay. And this is also another confusing thing. Basically, if they ask you, have you worked on buttons and links? We will easily answer that, yes, I have worked on, I have created few actions and all. But they'll not ask you question in that way. They ask you question, have you worked on quick action? Then immediately, even though we created the so many buttons and placed them to the page layout, we will not get immediately, it will not get strike out to us. Then what is the quick action? We feel like that I haven't worked on it. But nothing like that, guys. Whatever the actions that we are creating using the buttons and links concept, those actions are nothing but the quick actions. So you can see the terminology here. This is the terminology they are asking us. Okay. Quick actions. So this is the test create contact is one of the quick action I have created, right? So I can place that into here. Test create contact. So mobile and lightning experience actions. Okay. So this is the place I have added. Okay. And let me save. And then this is the quick actions that we are going to add. And then mobile and lightning actions. Here also we will see the same button. Okay. Test create contact. So if you want to see it in the classic version, we have to add it here. And if you want to see it in the lightning versions, okay, you can add it here. Okay, mobile and lightning actions. So it's always only one action that we have created. Okay, if you keep it here, mobile and lightning experience actions, test, create, contact. Okay, and then we have added in classic quick actions in the Salesforce classic publisher. Okay, we have added here also, and click on save. Now we will see how it works in both lightning and classic. Okay, we refreshed it. I can see test create contact button. After I added it to the page layout, I can see this button is available. On click of that, automatically it is just asking me to give a contact information, and click on save. It will create the record. It will create the contact record. Okay. So all these buttons, new contact, new case, new note, all these buttons were created in the same way, guys. Okay. All are the standard buttons because we haven't created. They came along with when the object gets created, right? Like all these are the standard buttons. And if you want to create your own buttons, test create contact is the own button which I have created. So we can create like that. Okay. So what all actions? So the interview questions here is what all actions that you can do as part of your quick action buttons. That is create a record, update a record. We can call a flow and we can call LWC components. Okay. They will ask another way also. Can I call a flow from quick action or can I call LWC component from quick action? Then you have to say yes, that is possible. You can call. And they'll ask you vice versa. Can I call it from the button? Then you should say no. Using button, we can call only JavaScript. That's it. Okay. Now let me just switch back to classic and I'll show you how our button works in classic. Okay. And I'm going to accounts. See? Even though I added that button, guys, okay, but still that button is not available. That is what I am telling you. Okay. The action buttons works only in lightning. It won't display on the classic. This now you can see it, right? The same record which I have opened in the lightning version, and I can see my action button also. But in the classic version, I can't see my action buttons. Okay. Not only the one which I created, we were not able to see that new contact, new case, default lightning action buttons also we are not able to see in the classic version. Okay, that's the thing I would like to show you. Now I'm going to lightning experience. Okay, see, we are able to see more buttons here. This edit, delete, and these are the buttons are not lightning action buttons, guys. Okay, these are the normal buttons. That's the reason they are available in both classic and lightning versions. Okay, but new contact, new case, new note, these are like action buttons. That's the reason they are not available in classic. They are available only in the lightning. Is it clear? Any questions on buttons and links? So, just to recap, the major interview questions they will ask you on this is, have you worked on quick actions? Okay. Don't feel something different. Quick actions are nothing but actions that we are configuring using this buttons, links, and actions concept. Okay. What is the difference between the new action and new buttons? Why do we need two? Obviously. Then you need to explain using new actions, we can do more functionalities, but they are available only in the Lightning version. Like we can create the records, we can update the records, we can call the flows, we can call the Lightning components. But using buttons, we can call the JavaScript. Okay, that's it. On click of new button. Okay. So paste button. We can create a button and we can just display what is this button. Okay. Like source. Would you like to call the JavaScript or Visual Force page? Like classic versions, Visual Force pages and JavaScript we use in the classic versions. So we can only do this one. Using these buttons, we can just using JavaScript, you can write a script to open up a page, guys. Even detail page, edit page, okay, new page. But everything is that something you need to write your own script, and that script you can execute. Okay, it's not something like that without writing a script. Just simply you can't just say create a record. Then automatically it is giving you the option to select the fields, right? But in this case, in buttons case, you have to write each and everything inside the JavaScript or Visual Force page, and you can call that one. Okay, but if your arg is classic version, then there is no option. If your project is in classic version, then there is no option. You have to go with this buttons concept. But if it's in Lightning version, it's always actions. Okay. And to just escape you guys, you can simply say I have not used these buttons at any point of time. You can simply say I have just used just to URL fields. In case of URL fields, I just created a detail page link URL field and I have added that to page layout. Apart from that, for the actions, I always use the new actions because the projects which I have been working is always in the Lightning. Lightning is started from 2016 onwards, guys. Okay. 2016 to 19, it was a very less usage. But after 2019, once they introduced this Lightning web components, almost 90% of the projects they moved into the Lightning only. You will never see, I mean, I can't say 100% they got moved, but 90% they got moved. There are some projects which are very minor projects and they don't want to put this migration efforts. They were present in classic, but you can simply say I did not work on any classic projects. Okay, then they'll ask you questions on the Lightning only because 90% of the projects always runs in Lightning. So you can say I got opportunity to work on configuring the new actions, but I'm aware of that the difference between these two things. That is how you can explain. That's it about buttons, links, and actions, guys. Apart from that, I'm going to tell you a minor small topics. Okay, compact layouts. Compact layout is something like that. If you click on, so this is the one. which decides what all fields that should be available on your header component, guys. Okay. In case if it has, generally header component can have maximum 6 fields. Okay. Maximum 5 or 6, that also we can configure. Okay. Right now it has 6 fields. Okay. Compact layout is the one which decides what all the fields that needs to display on the header component. Okay. If you don't want to display these fields, if you want to display another fields, then you have to come to that particular object and you have to go to compact layout and you can create your new layout. It's just a very minor one. Okay. You can create your new one and you can select your fields and you can provide your layout assignments. That means particular profile use this layout. Okay. So that what happens is whenever the second profile user logs in, then whenever they opens up the account record, they will see the other set of fields on your header component. Okay. This is very minor concept. Mm, Only one interview questions. Have you worked on the compact layouts and what is the use of it? You can say that I too worked on it. Compact layout basically we use to control the header components, header component fields. Okay. And the next thing is field sets. Um, Basically, field sets are something like that. We can just create a set of fields into one field set. Okay. So test. Okay. Click on save. Okay. Here it has, uh, so I'm going to bundle a multiple fields. Okay. Account number, account owner, account site, account source. Okay. Okay. Billing city, like address information is into one field set and billing information into one field set. Like that, if you want to if you want to divide your entire fields into multiple categories, we are going to use these field sets, guys. The usage of these field sets also very minor. Okay. But just grouping up the fields, you can tell. That's it. Apart from that, no need of major use cases for this. And another important thing that you need to know is limitations. There will be a questions, guys, on these limitations. Okay. So, can you tell me some object limits that you are aware of that? So one of the limit that we had already seen is the master detail fields that we can create only two master detail fields. Okay. And another limit that you can see is you know about the roll up summary fields, right? So you can create 25 roll up summary fields. Okay. And for each object, you can create only 500 custom fields. And then custom relationship fields is nothing but the lookup fields, guys. You can create 40 lookup fields. Okay. And sharing rules, approval process, workflows, validations, all these things we will discuss in later classes. Okay. But right now we completed the roll-up summaries, right? So the limitation of roll-up summary field is 25 fields that you can create. And we completed the custom fields. For an account object, you can create 500 custom fields. And you already used 7. We already created 7 custom fields. Okay, but maximum we can create 500 custom fields. Okay. And relationship fields 40 we can create. Okay. Why it is not creating a master detail? Let me open up another tab, guys. There I'm going to show you our custom object. Okay. Custom object. Going to the policies, or you can open policy or policy plans. Okay. Or you can open up any of the custom object that you created. And if you go to the object limits, okay. So the custom fields are same. 500 you can create. Okay. And custom relationship fields 40 you can create. Okay. Already it is showing 3 are created. If I go to the fields and relationships, I can see one master detail, two master detail. Okay. So we have related to account, and we have related to policy plan, and we have related to user. Okay. That means you can relate at most 40 relationship objects. Okay. Custom relationship fields are 40. What else we covered? Custom fields, custom relationship fields, active lookup filters is something like that. Whenever you are creating the lookup fields, you have the filter options. Like for example, this is the lookup field, right? But this is not created by us. Let me open up another object where we have the lookup relationship. I don't think we have anywhere else. Okay. See, this is the one. Okay. So when we click on, when we are creating the any relationship, right? There is a filter criteria that we can add it. Optionally create a filter to limit the records available for this user. Okay. So here we can just add some criteria. That means when we are trying to, when I'm trying to relate some account to this particular policy, only accounts which are created in this year should be available. Okay. We can add that filter criteria. So whenever we click on that lookup button, it will just display the accounts which are created this year. It will not show us accounts which are created in previous year or before years. Okay. Whenever you want to apply such kind of filters, we call it as a lookup filters. Okay. That is the one. So I mean, again, coming to the limits, you can have only 5 lookup filters. Okay. You can create 40 relationships, but out of 40, you can only filter out 5. That is the limitation. Okay. Just remember, you just need to explain about few limitations. That's it. Custom fields, you can explain 500, and lookup filters, you can explain as a 5. And roll up summary fields 25. Okay. You are not having roll up summary fields limit here because policy object is not parent for any of the child objects. That's the reason it is not showing any roll up summary fields limitation. Otherwise, it will display the roll up summary fields limitation. And custom relationship fields to 40. Okay. In later classes, once I cover the sharing rules and validation rules, workflow rules, and approval processes, you will just remember these things. But this is something you need to remember, guys. As an admin, you have to remember these limits also. Okay. They'll ask you a question, what happens if I want to increase my limit? Is that possible? Yes, that is possible. We have to raise a case to Salesforce and we need to pay a little bit more amount. Then they will increase our limits. But basically, these limits is very high if we use if we develop our project, if you design and develop our project in a very good best practice model. Okay. Related lookup filters. Okay. Rest of the concepts I'll explain in Monday's class, guys. Okay. Today it's like buttons, links, and actions, compact layouts, field sets, and object limits. These three things are very easy topics and minor topics, guys. But there will be interview questions on these also. Okay. That's it for today's. So as part of today's class assignment, you can also try to create an action, some test action, and try to keep in your page layouts and see whether you are able to create a record or not. Or if you face any errors, that you can just verify it once. Okay. Apart from that, you can complete the assignment. That's it for today. If you have any questions, you can stay on this call. I'll clarify, or else we will wrap up this.